my story channel.
Hi everybody, this is Star and today we're playing Minecraft. First time I'm going to show y'all this world as I didn't get the right thing. And I have this grade shader.
What was happening in the world the month I was born? So I had to research all the important events that took place in March of 2005. I googled 2005 March news. On a news site, I found stories listed by published date. I started going.
Yes, I am creative, but to be fair, I'm still working on it.
I got to my birthday, March 18th, 2005. What happened the day I was born? I began browsing through the news stories. A big auto show had opened. There was an earthquake in Alaska. A celebrity couple announced that they were getting divorced. What a boring day to be born on, I thought, and started looking through the next day's stories. One headline caught my attention. Search continues for baby abducted from hospital. I clicked on the story. As I read it, I started to feel like I was suffocating. The police have been conducting a massive search party trying to locate the Roberts baby girl, Anna. They are searching every home in town to find the baby who was kidnapped by a person pretending to be a nurse. The mother, Ann Taylor Roberts, said, "I feel like I'm in a nightmare. I can't believe something this awful has happened to me." I was shocked. Our last name is Roberts. My mom's name is Taylor, and I'm Hannah. I had been kidnapped from the hospital the day I was born, and my family had kept it a secret from me. I kept reading and found out there were more details to the story. My mom was in her room at the hospital, semi-conscious because she had had a C-section. A nurse came in. "I need to take the baby so the doctor can give her a physical examination. I'll bring her back in 30 minutes, she said. After a while, another nurse walked into the room. "Where's the baby?" she asked. When my mom said, "The doctor wanted her for a physical," they knew I was kidnapped because physical exams for newborns did not exist. The security camera footage showed how the big nurse had kidnapped me. First, she changed her clothes in the restroom. Then she left the hospital with me, pretending that I was her baby. Okay, so I was kidnapped, but since I'm with my family now, they must have found me. I googled Hannah Roberts kidnapped baby and began reading the stories from the following days. At the time, there was a new chief of police in our town. He made a promise to my mom. "I'm giving you my word I will find your daughter," he said. He put together a huge search party. They left no stone unturned, but still couldn't find me. 6 months passed. An abandoned stroller was found in the shopping mall 30 miles away. There was a 6-month-old baby girl inside. The police chief brought the baby to my family so that they could identify me. My mom was so happy at first. But then she became disappointed. "I only got to spend a few hours with my baby, so I can't be sure. But something tells me it's not her," she said, and started sobbing. My dad also said, "This baby looks nothing like me or my wife. She can't be our daughter." The police chief said, "There are no other missing babies. Let's get a DNA test. That's the only way we can be sure." They took saliva samples from my parents and the baby and sent them to a lab. When the results of the DNA test came back, everything became clear. I was definitely my parents' baby. The police chief held a press conference. He said to my mom, "I told you I would find your baby, and I kept my promise." I had learned something incredible about myself, but I had no clue that this was only the beginning. There was another secret, which was even bigger than this one. I only discovered it a few months later, and it changed my life forever. When I read about the kidnapping, my parents weren't home from work yet. I was dying to talk to them about the whole thing. How could they hide it from me? Maybe they were ashamed because at first they thought I was their baby. On the other hand, they're not wrong. I look nothing like them. My sister Ellie looks exactly like my mom. They both have big eyes and tiny noses. In other ways, she's just like my dad. She laughs silently like him, and they both turn completely red when they're angry. I, on the other hand, look like I'm adopted. I have nothing in common with my parents. When they came home from work, I told them I had something important to talk to them about. After dinner, they sent my sister to a room. They were looking at me curiously. I told them everything from the beginning. They were clearly both very upset. "Why did you hide this from me?" I asked. Mom said, "Honey, for us this is a bad memory, and we won't forget that it ever happened. We moved to a new place, so people around us positive. The kids are also typo positive. Are you adopted? I was shocked, but I couldn't say anything to the nurse at that moment. I just said, yes. The nurse laughed. It's my fault. I dragged you here because you said my sister. I didn't think you could be adopted. You make mistakes like that when you work long hours, she said. I left her and ran to my parents. They looked terrible. I didn't tell them what the nurse had told me. I just hugged them. We waited for my sister to come out of surgery. Her surgery went really well. The doctor said Ellie should recover fully in 2 weeks. We were so happy. I was so upset.
Oh, by the way, guys, I'm sorry. Like, subscribe. I keep forgetting I don't speak that much.
It was obvious that I wasn't my parents' child.
I don't like speaking when I'm playing, so sorry.
Wasn't theirs after all. So who was I? Who had abandoned me?
I'm really sorry. I'm not sorry.
And where was my parents' real daughter? This hurt the most. My parents had lost their own child and raised another one thinking that she was theirs. I thought about this for
And it's starting to get night.
It was my parents' right to know the truth. If I didn't tell them I wasn't their real child, I'd be lying. I loved them both so much. They didn't deserve to be lied to. After telling them I wasn't their daughter, I moved to a group home. Since I wasn't their daughter, that was where I belonged. The following day I woke up early. I opened my closet. It was packed with clothes, but none of them were mine. These belonged to my parents' adopted child. I had stolen her life. I took only 2 t-shirts and a pair of jeans and packed them into a suitcase. My mom
I'm not able to know which is north or not.
Ready, she said. She was surprised to see the suitcase. She asked, laughing, "Are you going somewhere?" I couldn't keep everything inside any longer. Tears started coming down my face. I sobbed for a while. My dad heard me cry too. He came into my room. "I want to talk to you about something important," I said. I told them about what happened at the hospital and everything else that was on my mind. "I'm not your real daughter. A group home is where I belong. I love you so much, but I have to leave this house," I said, grabbing my suitcase. I was ready to leave now. My parents looked at each other. Then they came closer to me and gave me a big hug. My dad said, "You're not going anywhere. You are our daughter. We have known all of this for years." I was surprised. "You knew? How did you find out? Was that DNA report fake?" I asked. My mom nodded. "Yes, it was fake. The police chief faked it, but I'm not mad at him for it. Yes, we lost our daughter, but thanks to that report, we got another one," she said, and began telling the rest of the story. "After the kidnapping, the police chief brought you to us. Just like you read in the news, your dad and I both thought the baby they found, meaning you, wasn't ours. The DNA test convinced us that you were, but as time passed by, we figured out we had been right. You didn't look or act like us. We didn't have any common traits. We had to know the truth." Your dad went to talk to the police chief. He had retired after being diagnosed with cancer. The doctors were saying he didn't have a lot of time left. Perhaps that's why he came clean. He told us, "I had just become the chief. I wanted to prove that I was the right man for the job. I promised I'd find your baby in front of the press, but I couldn't keep my promise. That's why I made it look like the baby you found in the shopping mall was yours. I pressured your lab into preparing a fake DNA report. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me."
The actual
We were
frick?
relieved to learn the truth. Obviously, we didn't start loving you any less, because it wasn't your fault. You were a victim just like us. You are our precious daughter. This house is your house.
Really much I didn't know actually.
Might be fake, but our love for you is real. We all hugged. I realized
Since I know which is going to be the way,
even more than before.
I don't talk that much.
I hadn't grown inside her belly. She loved me as if I had, and this made her even.
Oh my! Oh, if I had a snow bucket, I would be a happy girl. I'm just looking for diamonds. My shader makes it look like if something was diamond. How did this thing even come here? Anybody can explain to me that? Ugh. If this micro video pops, I'm going to really make new videos for my 2 channels just today.
My name is Iris. My life is a nightmare because of my stepmom.
Oh,
She's
frick.
The medical term for her condition is OCD.
By the way, I would advise you to just stay a bit away from creative mode. I'm using creative mode as I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I do. frick?
So I get really stressed during these routine checks. If you can't seem to issues, she says, even though you are no good, you did everything just like I wanted you to do.
I saw it.
Not you. You can only do this because I trained you so well. Otherwise, you could never pull it off on your own. My dad married this woman 3 years ago. I was living with my grandma at the time. When my grandma passed, I had no choice but to move in with my dad. One day my dad said to me, I can't take care of you on my own. I have to get married for your sake. You need a mother. I disagreed. I'm not a kid anymore. I can take care of myself.
Enchant. So
my mom died while giving birth to me.
fortune 3.
Doctors told her that pregnancy might be especially dangerous, but my mom didn't listen to them. She passed away during labor without even meeting me. All I have left from my mom is this photo. Thanks to this, I know what my mom's face looked like, and I can see her in my dreams. I also visit her grave too. I talk to her. If there's an important decision I need to make, I always ask her about it. Then she comes into my dream and tells me what she thinks. This may sound weird to you, but I really believe my mom communicates with me through dreams. My dad and stepmom work at a frozen pizza factory. My dad is in the purchasing department while my stepmom is the accounting manager. I heard them fighting one day. My dad was talking about going to jail. Their door was ajar. I tried to peek in to understand what was going on. My dad was yelling, I did this because you wanted me to. Why do you want me to take the blame now? You are as responsible for this as I am. Shedding crocodile tears, my stepmom replied, why should we both go to jail? Who's going to take care of our daughter? You need to take the blame yourself. For Eilish's sake. My dad looked down in silence. At that moment, I knew that he had accepted this to keep me safe. 1 week later, I found out about all the details. My stepmom had committed invoice fraud, so the records showed purchased goods that my dad in fact had not purchased to the factory. My stepmom then transferred payments for those goods into her own bank accounts. This is how they misappropriated the company's funds. But somehow, someone figured it out. Detectives began to look into the company records. When my stepmom figured out that they were going to get caught, she convinced my dad to take the blame. In his court deposition, my dad said, my wife doesn't know anything. I tricked her. I'm the only one who's guilty here. The court gave my dad 6 years in prison for embezzlement. I was incredibly angry at my stepmom, but I couldn't do anything. I had no relatives I could go to. On paper, I did have a mother, but only because Anna was married to my dad. I couldn't seek shelter at a children's home. I had no choice but to live with her. My stepmom was now home all day. Previously, I was clean before she came home from work, but now she was constantly saying, don't go to school, clean the house. Everything's so dirty, I feel like I'm going to choke. After a while, I had to leave school for good. Now I was getting up in the morning and cleaning until midnight. Normally, I dream of my mom at least 1 day a week, but during that time, she visited me every night in my dreams. She wouldn't talk to me, she just gestured for me to come to her. Obviously, she wanted me to visit her grave, but it was impossible for me to leave the house. My stepmom kept showing me spots to clean around the house. If I was gone for 5 minutes, she would start yelling and screaming. One morning, I mustered up the courage to say, I want to visit my mom. I'll be back in a couple of hours. My stepmom burst out laughing. No offense, but I think your mom's bones must have completely decomposed by now. Why do you want to see her grave? It's not your mom. It's just a stone with your mom's name on it, she replied. I was really upset. I began to cry. My stepmom showed me the door saying, go cry outside. You're ruining my house with your dirty teardrops. I ran outside. I had completely lost control. I kept running and sobbing at the same time. Normally, I go to the cemetery by bus. That day, I ran for nearly 2 hours without stopping. Finally, I reached the cemetery. I hugged my mom's gravestone. No, you're not just a stone. You're my dear mom. I mumbled between sobs. At that second, I heard a sound like a whistle. It was coming from up above. When I looked up, I saw a red object zooming towards the ground. It came closer and closer until it landed
I want to find emerald.
and sank into the ground. A hole had formed at that spot, and smoke was coming out of it. As I walked closer, I realized that it was the heat that made the object seem right to me. As it cooled down, it turned
this?
Almost the size of a small turtle. I was staring at the rock, trying to figure out what it was.
Wait, what?
The only explanation I could come up with was that this was a meteorite. It was a fireball that came from outer space. I always thought they looked just like regular rocks, but this one was bright green. I was too curious not to touch it.
20.
I knew that was a dangerous thing to do. It was still hot, but not hot enough to burn my hand. It was perfectly smooth. Perhaps it had spent years traveling around space before entering the Earth's orbit and finally landing right next to me. A small piece had separated from the rock due to impact. I held it up into the sunlight. It looked like a diamond, but I didn't think there were any diamonds in space. Most diamonds are clear. This rock, on the other hand, was green. I went back to my mom's grave. Even though you're far away, you always take care of me. I don't know what to do with this meteorite, but I'm sure this was the reason why you called me here, I said. Then I dug a hole in my mom's grave and buried the rock in it. The small piece from the meteorite was in my pocket. I had to go and find out what it was. I could look it up online, but I left my phone at home. How was I going to go and get it back when my stepmom was at home? I had an idea. I picked up some dirt from my mom's grave and filled my pocket. When I came home, my stepmom leapt to her feet. Her eyes flashed with anger. You went to see your mom's bones, didn't you? Didn't I tell you not to go? She screamed. Without saying anything, I took out some dirt from my pocket and sprinkled it on the floor. She looked around bewildered. What are you doing? Stop ruining my house! She yelled. I ran into the kitchen. I threw a handful of soil up in the air. I did the same in all the other rooms and finished all the soil that I took from my mom's grave. As I was going to my room, my stepmom had already begun mopping the floors, crying. My house is ruined. It's filthy. Because of her condition, she felt compelled to deep clean the house.
Oh, and by the way,
I packed a few of my things in a small
I'm actually going to be making this video like 20 minutes, but like 10 minutes, and the rest 5 I'm gonna let for tomorrow.